Welcome. I wanted to do a meditation and I had some requests for it, so I think it's just in perfect time that we, just as much as it's important to move our bodies, it's important to slow down and turn our focus inward, connect with our breath, and in return connect to our being, our bodies, slow our mind, and truly just clear away what's happening so we can really focus on how we need to respond. So with that, let's begin. I'll kind of look at perfect timing. It's 8:01. So in this meditation, there's no like specific props or tools that you need. I have a meditation cushion, so I'm sitting on it. If you like to elevate your hips on a block or a towel, you can do that. Sometimes a couple pillows work, or if you have a bolster, that works too. I personally have a blanket out underneath me because my ankles and stuff get kind of sore from the hardwood floor. So this is for you. Make yourself comfortable in any way. If you need to sit in a chair, sit in a chair. Both feet will be uncrossed, planted lightly on the floor. Hands can be, so next position, your hands. Hands are either palms down on your thighs, palms facing up towards the sky, or you're going to cup your hands in your lap, left under right, thumbs lightly touching. It can be left over right. I don't think it really matters. And you sit up tall. Okay, so your spine is in its natural curvature. Your lungs have room to breathe. Belly is soft. Tuck your chin ever so slightly as if I'm pulling a string from the top of your head up, and there's this elongated sensation. Ears pull back in line with your shoulders. You can close your eyes fully, or you can slight gaze in like 6 to 8 inches in front of you. And whatever feels best in your body here. So the goal in meditation is not to ask yourself to not have any thoughts. It's kind of too big of an expectation for ourselves. I kind of like to think of meditation as just simply training our mind to be with your breath. And how we do that is when you start to notice that you're in thought, whether it's future, present thought, maybe fantasy, you just simply go back to the sensations of your inhale and the sensations of your exhale. Over time, the more you do this, the easier it will be and the less thoughts you are having. And another way you can think of doing this is imagine that your thoughts are a car passing along the road. You can see the color, the make, the model of the vehicle, but you don't have to step inside the vehicle. You don't have to engage with the driver. Okay? So, you sit up tall. Before we begin, I will read something, and at the end I will read something as well. So you can have your eyes closed and start to follow your breath. This is a passage from Thic Naht Hahn, The Miracle of Mindfulness. If while washing the dishes, we think of only the cup of tea that awaits us, thus hurrying to get the dishes out of the way as if they were a nuisance, then we are not washing the dishes to wash the dishes. What's more, we are not alive during the time we are washing the dishes. In fact, we are completely incapable of realizing the miracle of life while standing at the sink. If we can't wash the dishes, the chances are we won't be able to drink the tea either. While drinking the cup of tea, we will only be thinking of other things, barely aware of the cup of tea in our hands. Thus, we are sucked away into the future, and we are incapable of actually living 1 minute of life. So in this practice of our meditation today, can we try to bring our full awareness and full mindfulness onto our breath? We'll begin. Take a deep breath in through your nose, fill all the way up, and then open mouth side out. Start to breathe in and out of your nose. And just notice how it feels as you breathe in and out. Notice the spaces that move alongside your breath. Become aware of all of the sounds that you hear without labeling the source. Just notice sound to sound. And bringing all of your awareness a little bit inward, a little bit more deep. Continue to follow your breath. maybe by now you have realized that by seeing and witnessing your thoughts, by watching them come and go, that there's this awareness, this witness, and there's your thoughts. We can now know that we are not our thoughts. We are that space that is viewing our thoughts. We are that awareness, that witness. That is our true self, that witness to those thoughts. We are all one in that space. That space knows no good or bad, has no judgment. And it's just oneness. And the second passage from Miracle of Mindfulness. Eating a tangerine. I remember a number of years ago when Jim and I were first traveling together in the United States. We sat under a tree and shared a tangerine. He began to talk about what we would be doing in the future. Whenever we thought about a project that seemed attractive or inspiring, Jim became so immersed in it that he literally forgot about what he was doing in the present. He popped a section of the tangerine in his mouth, and before he had begun chewing it, had another slice ready to be popped into his mouth again. He was hardly aware he was eating a tangerine. All I had to say was, "You ought to eat the tangerine section you've already taken." Jim was so startled into realizing what he was doing. It was as if he hadn't been eating the tangerine at all. If he had been eating anything, he wasn't eating his future plans. A tangerine has sections. If you can't eat just one section, you probably can't eat the entire tangerine. But if you can't eat a single section, you cannot eat the tangerine. Jim understood. He slowly put his hands down and focused on the present of the slice already in his mouth. He chewed it thoroughly before reaching down and taking another section. Later, when Jim went to prison for activities against the war, I was worried about whether he could endure the four walls of prison and sent him a very short letter. Do you remember the tangerine we shared when we were together? You being there is like the tangerine. Eat it one by one. Tomorrow, there will be no more. Eat it and be one with it. Tomorrow, it will be no more. I think this is an amazing metaphor on how we can slow down, how we can start to be present in what we are doing in every activity, whether it is actually eating a tangerine slice or trying to stay present in communication with our partner throughout this quarantine. Whatever we're doing in life, we should honor the thing in front of us in the present moment. And how we can do that even more is slowing down, really seeing what's in front of us and taking it step by step. Allowing our breath to be present, going back to the breath, gives us the power to see the situation at hand and then notice that there's a pause before we respond. So there's a situation, a pause, and our response. And in this practice of meditation, being in control of our mind, training our mind to go back to the breath, we are in return in our everyday situations seeing that we have the control to choose how we want to respond to difficult situations. For me, that's probably the most powerful thing that I have learned throughout this practice, and I hope you can start to implement it in your daily life as well. So maybe tomorrow, or maybe even tonight, when you're washing the dishes or when you're eating your next meal, can you take it bit by bit? Can you have all of your awareness and your mindfulness onto the task at hand? If you haven't yet already, slowly start to deepen your breath. Start to make some neck rolls here, waking up your body. Make sure you're still sitting up tall. Reverse those circles. Good. Head up. As you inhale, reach your arms all the way up and overhead. Take a big stretch. As you exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Thank you for sharing this meditation with me tonight. I hope to be doing a little bit more with you throughout the next couple of days. You stay here in this seat for as long as you'd like. Good night.